Life is like a river. It moves forward, always flowing, never stopping. But many people try to carry yesterday with them. They hold on to mistakes, regrets, and sadness from the past. This makes their journey heavy, slow, and painful. The truth is simple. Yesterday is gone. We cannot go back. We cannot change it. What we can change is today, and what we can build is tomorrow. This story is about learning to let go of yesterday. It is not just a story for entertainment. It is a lesson about life, about freedom, and about growth. If you are a language learner, you will also find that this story is written in simple, clear English. You will understand it easily, and at the same time, you will learn how to express deep ideas in simple words. The title of this story is Don't Carry Yesterday. Let's begin. There was once a young man named Daniel. He lived in a small town surrounded by mountains and rivers. Daniel was kind, intelligent, and full of dreams. He wanted to study, travel, and make a good life for himself. But Daniel had one problem. He could not forget his mistakes. Every time something went wrong, Daniel carried the memory with him. When he failed an exam, he thought about it for months. When he argued with a friend, he replayed the fight again and again in his head. Even small mistakes, like dropping a glass of water or arriving late to school, stayed in his mind like heavy stones. Daniel's friends often told him, "Let it go, Daniel. It's in the past." But Daniel could not. He felt that if he forgot, he would lose control. He believed that holding on to the past made him careful. He thought it protected him from future mistakes. But in reality, the opposite was true. Carrying yesterday only made Daniel more anxious, more tired, and more afraid. One morning, Daniel woke up late for work. His boss became angry. That day, Daniel walked home slowly, his head full of negative thoughts. Why am I always like this? Why can't I wake up on time? Why do I always make people upset? His heart was heavy. On his way home, he passed by an old park. In the park, he saw a bench under a tall oak tree. An old man with white hair was sitting there, reading a book. Daniel sat down near him, hoping to rest for a while. The old man looked at Daniel's face and smiled. "You look tired, young man. What is on your mind?" Daniel sighed. "I always carry my mistakes with me. Every day, I think about the things I did wrong. I cannot let them go." The old man closed his book and said gently, "Ah, you are carrying yesterday." Daniel frowned. "Carrying yesterday? What do you mean?" The old man pointed to Daniel's backpack. "Look at your bag. If you put one stone inside for every mistake you made, how heavy would it be?" Daniel laughed nervously. "It would be too heavy. I couldn't walk." The old man nodded. "Exactly. That is what you are doing with your heart and mind. You are putting stones of yesterday inside, and now your spirit is too heavy to move freely." Daniel became quiet. The old man's words touched him deeply. Daniel sat quietly on the bench, thinking about the old man's words. The image of his backpack full of heavy stones stayed in his mind. He imagined himself walking up the mountain with such a load. He could see himself sweating, falling, and giving up. "Yes," he thought, "that is exactly how my life feels. Heavy, difficult, slow." The old man continued, "You know, young man, yesterday is a teacher. It teaches us lessons, but it does not want us to carry it forever. A good student listens, learns, and moves on. A poor student refuses to move forward and becomes stuck in the same class again and again." Daniel asked softly, "But if I forget my mistakes, won't I repeat them?" The old man smiled. "No, you don't need to carry the mistake. You only need to carry the lesson. The memory of pain is not the lesson. The understanding of what to do differently next time is the lesson. Do you understand?" Daniel nodded slowly. It was a new idea for him. He realized he was not just remembering his mistakes. He was punishing himself for them. That night, Daniel could not sleep. The old man's words echoed in his head. Don't carry yesterday. He decided to try something different. He took a notebook and wrote down 3 mistakes he had been thinking about for weeks. Next to each mistake, he wrote the lesson he learned. Mistake: failed exam because I did not study enough. Lesson: I must prepare earlier and study consistently. Mistake: argued with my friend because I was impatient. Lesson: I must listen more and speak calmly. Mistake: arrived late to work. Lesson: I must sleep earlier and set an alarm. After writing, Daniel closed his notebook and whispered to himself, I have learned. I do not need to carry this anymore. For the first time in a long while, his heart felt a little lighter. The next day, Daniel faced his first test. On the way to work, he accidentally spilled coffee on his shirt. Normally, this small mistake would ruin his entire day. He would think about it again and again, feeling embarrassed and angry at himself. But this time, he remembered the old man's lesson. He took a deep breath and said, It's just coffee. It is today's mistake, not yesterday's stone. I will clean it, I will move on. It was not easy, but he did it. He laughed at himself and continued walking. For the first time, he felt free from the weight of a small mistake. A week later, Daniel returned to the park. The old man was sitting under the same oak tree, reading again. Daniel greeted him with a smile. Hello, sir. I have tried your advice. The old man looked up, curious. And how do you feel? Lighter, Daniel said honestly. It's not perfect. Sometimes I still think too much about the past. But now I remind myself, I should carry only the lesson, not the mistake. And it works. The old man laughed warmly. Good. You are walking without unnecessary stones. Remember, freedom is not about having no problems. It is about not carrying the weight of yesterday's problems. Daniel felt grateful. He bowed his head slightly. Thank you for your wisdom. But life always tests us more deeply when we begin to change. 2 months later, Daniel lost his job. His company was struggling, and many workers were asked to leave. At first, Daniel felt the old heaviness returning. His mind shouted, You are a failure. You are useless. This is your fault. He almost started carrying the stone again. But then he remembered, Don't carry yesterday. He sat down, opened his notebook, and wrote. Event: lost my job. Lesson: life is uncertain. I must prepare new skills. I must be flexible. Instead of sinking into sadness, Daniel decided to use this time to grow. He began learning new computer skills. He started reading books about personal development. He also volunteered at a local community center, teaching children simple English. Little by little, Daniel discovered that losing his job was not the end. It was a new beginning. If he had carried the stone of failure, he would have been stuck. But because he carried the lesson instead, he found a new direction. Daniel's heart grew stronger. His mind became clearer, and for the first time in years, he felt hope for the future. The old man's simple words had changed his life. Months passed, and Daniel became a different person. His friends noticed the change. You smile more now, one of them said. You don't complain about small things anymore, another added. Daniel laughed softly. I still make mistakes, but I don't carry them with me. I learn, and I move forward. Inside, Daniel felt proud. He remembered the old version of himself, the Daniel who held on to every wrong step, every failure, every word spoken in anger. That Daniel was always tired, always heavy, always afraid of the future. But the new Daniel was lighter. He was not perfect, but he was free. One evening, Daniel returned to the park once more. The sun was setting, painting the sky with orange and purple colors. The old man was there, sitting on the same bench under the oak tree. Daniel walked up with a big smile. "Sir, I wanted to see you again. You changed my life." The old man looked at him kindly. "I did not change your life. You did. You chose to drop the stones. You chose to walk freely. That is your victory, not mine." Daniel sat beside him. "But without your words, I would still be carrying yesterday." The old man nodded. "Sometimes, all we need is a reminder. A reminder that the past is not a prison. A reminder that life only exists in this moment. Yesterday is gone. Tomorrow is not here yet. All we truly have is today." Daniel thought about those words. He realized how true they were. All his fears had been about yesterday or tomorrow, but peace was always available in the present moment. The old man closed his eyes for a moment, breathing deeply. "Young man, remember this. When you carry yesterday, your hands are full. You cannot receive today's gift. But when you let go, your hands are open, ready to receive new blessings." Daniel's eyes filled with tears. "I understand now." Soon after, Daniel found a new job. It was not the same as his old one. It was better. He worked at a school, helping children learn English and life skills. He enjoyed teaching, sharing stories, and watching the children grow in confidence. One day, a little boy made a mistake while reading. He looked down, ashamed. Daniel smiled at him gently and said, "Don't worry. Don't carry this mistake with you. Learn the word and move on. Every mistake is a lesson, not a life sentence." The boy's face lit up with relief. Daniel realized he was passing on the same wisdom he had received. The cycle of learning continued. The old man had shared it with him, and now he was sharing it with others. The story of Daniel is not just about him. It is about all of us. We all carry stones from yesterday. Maybe they are mistakes we made, people we hurt, chances we lost, or fears that grew inside us. But carrying yesterday only makes us heavy. The truth is simple. Yesterday is gone. The past cannot be changed. We can carry the lesson, but not the weight. If we live in the past, we lose today. If we are afraid of tomorrow, we lose today again. But if we let go, if we choose to live here and now, today becomes a gift, and tomorrow becomes a new possibility. Imagine the old man speaking not just to Daniel, but to you. Dear listener, your backpack is full of stones. You don't need to carry them anymore. Put them down. Take only the lessons. Walk freely into today. Don't carry yesterday. So, my friends, this was the story of Daniel and the lesson he learned. Don't carry yesterday. If you are learning English, I hope the simple language helped you understand clearly. If you are living your life, I hope the message touched your heart. Now I want to ask you, what is one stone from yesterday that you are ready to put down? What is one lesson you will carry forward instead? Write your answer in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts. And if this story gave you value, please support this channel. Like the video to show your appreciation. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next story. Share this video with a friend who may be carrying yesterday. Remember, life is too short to walk with a heavy heart. Live light. Live free. Don't carry yesterday.